Hello, this is Edgar, and welcome to the Eye of the Serpent channel, where I talk about Native American religion, spirituality, language, and culture. And I wanted to talk about some of the developments that I've been making for the Mexica calendar application that I've been working on, as you probably seen from some of my more recent videos. And for today's date, May 2nd, I am using the default Gregorian calendar and the Alfonso Caso Correspondence, but I have now made new options available for the correspondences. And I'll talk about what these can provide. But you can see that today is 8 Cuautli, or Tiqueyi Cuautli, 8 Eagle, according to the Gregorian calendar in the Alfonso Caso correspondence. And here are the 5 Teotl, the spiritual beings that govern different aspects, different cycles within this convergence of multiple layers of the Mexica reckoning of the calendar system. You have, for example, the 13-day count, Teotl, the fire, and Itztapaltotec, the flaying in the shape of the flint blade. You have Xipetotec as presiding over the day sign of eagle, and then the 8th day, which we see here in with the 8 dots, the 8th of the 13 days in the count is occupied by Tlaloc of the rain, and his counterpart, Chaltihuitlique, is in the 6th night. So these are the 5 figures that whose sacred influences converge upon this day of 8 Cuautli, according to the reckoning of the Gregorian calendar in the Alfonso Caso. But I wanted to apply the Julian calendar because this will be especially useful for people who want to go kind of further back in time. I wanted to use the example of May 7th, the year 1507. And so I'm going to write this in here, and you can see that I can submit this. I'm sorry, this is, there's a bug here. I'm just going to submit it again. Okay, May 2nd, or 7th. You can see that in the with the Julian calendar, this properly corresponds to read, Ome Akat, and this we have the day of read presided over by Tezcatlipoca, and the 13-day cycle that is presided over by Mayawel, the goddess of the Maguey, and the 4th night with Sin Teotl, the maize, and Tlaltecutli, the earth, on the 2nd day of the 13 within the 13-day count. So the Julian calendar will be especially useful for dates before 1582 because of a papal edict that was that was launched in the year 1582 that fast forwarded 10 days in October. So we skipped from October 4th of 1582 to October 24th, or the October 25th or so in that same month. So this is an adjustment that was made in the year 1582. So if you want to correct for that, this Julian option will be viable, because then you can kind of correct for that 10-day discrepancy that the Gregorian calendar doesn't necessarily accommodate. And another thing that I wanted to also show is that if you wanted to reset to the present day, that is an option that will be available here. So let's go to April 30th. As you notice that when I clicked this reset, it went back to April 30th, 2025. So I'll go back to the Gregorian, and I'll submit again, and we are back. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back to May 2nd, because that's the day of this publication. And I'll set it again, and we're back to 8 Eagle, or Tiqueyi Cuautli. And what I also want to show is the Ruben Ochoa option that is also available for this time. So we are going to see that the date has been profoundly changed. So it is still, okay, now it is read. It is 3 read. And so we have Tezcatlipoca for the day of read, and then we have the cycle of 1 monkey, which has 2 sacred figures, 2 of the Teotl, for this 13-day period, from 1 monkey to 13 house. So these are governed by the god of medicine, Teotl, and the heart of the mountain, Tepeyolotli. So these 2 figures converge upon this 13-day calendar. The 3rd day within the calendar is governed by Chaltihuitlique, the goddess of the fresh waters. And then we have the 1st night, Xiuhtecutli. So these 5 figures are all present on this sacred day of 3 read Eyi Akat for the year for today, according to the Ruben Ochoa reckoning. And there are different reasons why you might want to choose one or the other. So Alfonso Caso is very popularly used for for many academic publications, and there seems to be a large consensus on the correspondence with primary texts, such as accounts of the conquest, that seem to correspond to days according to the Alfonso Caso reckoning. And it also lines up with other Mesoamerican calendar systems, including some that are used today. For example, among the Maya of Highland Guatemala, the Cactiquel and the Quiche Maya use a calendar system that is very resonant with the Alfonso Caso system. However, the Ruben Ochoa seems to be better aligned with the actual correspondence with the equinox and other celestial events by which the Mexica and other Mesoamerican civilizations were counting off the years, the months, and other important divisions of time. Although there doesn't seem to be much, like, say, chronicling. There don't seem to be too many primary sources that can corroborate it, but the alignment does seem to work better if you're looking at something that looks more naturally at the regular cycles of the year. So if you wanted the calendar that looks to be better aligned with the cycles of the full year and the 20-day months within the year, as well as following the stations of the season, such as the equinoxes, then you might want to go to Ruben Ochoa Correspondence. So I will have these both available as options. So you can, if you have a preference, you can choose which one you want to use. But for the default options, I'm going to leave the Gregorian and the Alfonso Caso. One last thing I also wanted to show, because I've got a lot of interesting things that I've been adding to this, is I finally figured out another bug that I've been able to resolve now. So I'm kind of fast forwarding to May 6, 2025, which should be on a Tuesday. And you'll see that now there are 4 figures, and I have now also been able to link up or stack up all the calendrical associations for each of the Teotl. So we have the Matlatli Omome Kiawit, that is 12 rain for this correspondence. And for this day, we have Tonatiu, the sun, who is related to the rain because of the complementarities of the rain and the sun, because together, if they're in proper balance, they bring great growth. And so that was very significant. That was important for the livelihood of the Mexica and other Mesoamerican civilizations. So these two sacred objects were very tightly connected in Central Mexican reckonings of the sacred ritual calendar. So it makes sense that the sun, Tonatiu, would be associated with the day of rain. The 12th day is Tlawis Calpantecuhtli, who is the god of Venus, for the 12th of the 13 days. And we also have the 13-day cycle, who has Xiuhtecuhtli, the fire, and Itztapaltotec, the sacrifice in the guise of the flint blade. And what I've also added here is that the fire is also the first lord of the 9 nights. So we have both of these attributes that are now listed below. So if a figure is representing different units of time within the calendar, then they are all now accounted for. So this is a big breakthrough, and I look forward to sharing more about these details as I continue the work on the calendar. So the next step in this development is going to focus on more multimedia aspects of the calendar, so that when you click on any of these figures, so if you click on the sun or you click on Venus and so on, then I'm going to have a pop-up where you can see more details about the figure, where the source, the more attributes and more of the qualities of each of the objects in this display. So that's going to be another one of the next phases for this in the progress of this project. I will also have clickable features so that when you want to hear the pronunciation, you can click on any of these Nahuatl names, and you will hear my pronunciation in the classical dialect that was spoken by the Mexica and other Highland Aztec nations. So those are some of the details that I look to present in the next phases for this Mexica calendar application. So thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Eye of the Serpent channel. Your support goes toward travel, research, and production. So thank you for watching. I look forward to sharing further details in the next development videos, and good roads.